AS Level Biology 9700. Second topic, biological molecules, and this is the second video on this topic. So we are going to start with the subtopic, building blocks of life. And in this subtopic, we will discuss the building blocks of life. And there are mainly four macromolecules. Macromolecules mean the large molecules, the big molecules, which are the building blocks. And those molecules are, or the building blocks are carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, all these are the nutrients, and nucleic acid means the DNA and RNA. So the interactions of different polymers of these basic molecules, molecule types, make up the majority of life structure and function. Polymers, we will discuss all this. Polymers are the large chains. The carbohydrates have different types. Lipids also have different types, and proteins as well. So in this way, they are called as the larger molecules or the macromolecules, which make large chains, and we will discuss them one by one. So we will move towards the next slide, in which the subtopic is monomers. So we have to define what is monomers. Mono means single. So monomer is a molecule that can be reacted together. That is, the one molecule, it will react together with the other molecule, and then in this way there will be the formation of a larger polymer chain. So in this way, thousands of monomers, they will join together to make a large molecule or a polymer chain, or the shape can be a three-dimensional network and this process by which the polymers are formed, the larger molecules are formed with the help of monomers, is called as polymerization. That is, the many molecules, they will join together in this way. So they will make the larger chains or the larger molecules, and sometimes they form the three-dimensional shape. So this process of formation of larger polymers chains is called as polymerization. So here you can see in this slide, the structure of monomer can be defined as a monomer consists of, you can see it is represented with the help of circles. So it means this is one molecule which can be characterized as monomer. So many monomers, so they are joining together. They are joining together to make a larger molecule or a polymer chain or larger chain. So a polymer is a long chain molecule made up of a repeated pattern of monomers. It can consist of 4, 5 to millions of monomers to make a polymer chain. So in this way, the monomer is a smaller molecule and polymer is a larger molecule which is made up of monomer molecules. So they will join together repeatedly with the help of different types of bonds. So bond is a link or by which the monomers are joined together to make a polymer chain. So in this regard, the first building block which we will discuss is the carbohydrate. So the carbohydrate is a bimolecule. Bimolecule means consisting of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atom. It is made up of three different types of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. These are the three elements with the help of which a carbohydrate is formed. So usually with the hydrogen oxygen atom ratio of 2:1. It means the hydrogen and oxygen ratio will always be 2:1. It will be 2:1. If the ratio is 2:1, it means That is, this is the carbohydrate molecule because it is made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So for this purpose, the empirical formula for this carbohydrate is CH2O, in which you can see 1:2:1, in which we always say the ratio between hydrogen and oxygen should always be 2:1. If it is 2:1, it means this is the carbohydrate molecule. So this formula holds true for the monosaccharides. So all monosaccharides will have the same formula, because in all these formula they will have 2:1 ratio between hydrogen and oxygen molecule. So there are different types of carbohydrates. They are, you can say, monosaccharides consist of only one molecule. Disaccharides consist of two, and polysaccharide 3 to many or more than two. So monosaccharide, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. So these are the different types of carbohydrates. So first of all, we will discuss monosaccharides. So what are the different monosaccharides? How do they are formed? So already told you that is the monosaccharides or carbohydrates are made up of three different elements. They are carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So these are three elements by which the monosaccharides are formed, or the simple sugars are formed. So they are also called as simple sugar. So they are the simplest form of sugar and the most basic units of carbohydrates. So they cannot be further hydrolyzed to simpler chemical compounds. So when they will be broken down, they will be changed into carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, not in a compound. So the general formula is CnH2nOn. So by this N value stands for, you can say, 1 onwards. So in this way, the formula will vary and the compound will also vary. The molecule will be changed. So they are usually colorless. They are usually colorless. They don't have proper color. Water soluble, they are dissolved in the water, and sometimes they are available in crystalline solids. So it means they have different, you can say, shapes. They can, in the form of crystals. So they can be dissolved into the water and they are colorless. So these are the physical properties of monosaccharides. Chemically, they join together with one another to make the larger molecules. First of all, they will make monosaccharide, from monosaccharides to monosaccharides, they will join together to make disaccharides. So all monosaccharides have the same general formula, which designates a central carbon molecule bounded to 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. Central carbon bounded with carbon molecule, 2 hydrogen and oxygen. So the oxygen will also bond to a hydrogen, creating a hydroxyl group, because so hydrogen creating a hydroxyl group. So in this way, this group is called as hydroxyl group. Because carbon can form 4 bonds, several of these carbon molecules can bond together. One of the carbons in the chain will form a double bond with an oxygen. So when we will write the formula of monosaccharides, or the you can say the we can give an example of monosaccharide, glucose, which is very common example. So you already know about glucose. It is called a carbonyl group. Carbonyl group means carbon is bounded with oxygen with a double bond. If this molecule is present in glucose molecule, so because of the presence of this carbonyl group, the monosaccharide is belong to the aldose family. it is carbon with double bond is bonded with oxygen. So this is called as carbonyl group. And if carbonyl group is at the end of the chain of the glucose molecule, then this is called as aldose family. So we will move towards the next slide, in which the glucose chain has been shown. So we say that formula of glucose is C6H12O6. So it means you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 carbon are there. And you can count 12 hydrogen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So 12 hydrogen are there, and there are 6 oxygen molecules. 2:1 ratio. But in glucose, you can see, if we talk about carbon as well, so the formula will be in this ratio, that is 1:2:1. So you can see 6 oxygen are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this group is called as carbonyl group, in which carbon is bonded with oxygen with a double bond. Because carbon there should be, it has 4 bonds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So each carbon is bonded with 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. So in this way, this group is called as carbonyl group. And due to the presence of this carbonyl group, the glucose is in aldose family. So this is the chain of the glucose molecule. But if we, you can say, wanted to make a ring structure of glucose molecule, then we will move towards the next slide. And you can see in this next slide, how do a simple chain can be formed into a ring structure. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can carbon number 1 has oxygen molecule with 2 bonds. So you can see over there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it means carbon number 1 will join with carbon number 5. So carbon number 6 will make a side chain. So carbon number 1, it will make a bond with carbon number 5. So here you can see how this carbon number 1 will make a bond with carbon number 5 to make a ring structure. Here you can see there are 2 bonds between carbon and hydrogen. So one of the bond will broken down, because carbon has to make in this way. So 1, 2. So it will make a bond with this hydrogen to make a hydroxyl group. So in this way, in the next, you can see the carbon number 1 has joined with the carbon number 5, and formation of glycosidic bond has been taken place. So this bond, which is formed between carbon number 1 and carbon number 5, this is called as glycosidic bond. So here you can see on one, instead of carbon with the 2 oxygen with the double bond, there is a single bond, and instead of only oxygen, there is hydroxyl group, OH group. So one carbon, on one side, carbon is joined with hydroxyl group, 1 bond, and second with hydrogen, third with the oxygen of the molecule of carbon number 5. So and the fourth one with the carbon number 2. So in this way, there is a stable chain of glucose molecule. Now, all which I have told you is written in this slide, which I would like to read for you. The glucose is one of the most common monosaccharides in nature, used by nearly every form of life. The simple monosaccharide is composed of 6 carbons, each labeled in the image, typically monosaccharides with more than 5 carbons. I have told you the glucose has 6 carbons, C6H12O6. So the hydroxyl group on the 5th carbon will react with the 1st carbon. The hydroxyl group gives up its hydrogen atom when it forms a bond with the 1st carbon. So carbon number 1 will join with the carbon number 5. So the double bond, as it was in this form, so this double bond will broken down, and this forms a fully connected and stable ring of carbon. So in this way, a carbon ring is formed, and this is the ring structure of glucose. And here in the next slide, you can see the types of glucose. There are 2 types of glucose on the due to the presence of these hydroxyl groups, alpha glucose and beta glucose. If the hydroxyl group is in the downward direction in this way, so this is called as alpha glucose. So when the hydroxyl group is in the upward direction, then it will be called as beta glucose. On this presence of this hydroxyl group, the types of glucose are changed. That is the alpha glucose and beta glucose. Hydroxyl group is in the downward and in the upwards direction, so it will be beta glucose. These are the 2 types of glucose. Now, what is the role of these monosaccharides? First and foremost, monosaccharides are used to produce and store energy. You know, these nutrients gives us energy, and the monosaccharides are the immediate source of energy. So most organisms create energy by breaking down the monosaccharides, glucose, and harvesting the energy released from the bonds. Other monosaccharides are used to form long fibers, which is cellulose. So they form the cellular structure. So they have different roles in the life. Now we are moving towards the next slide, in which we are going to discuss about the disaccharide. Or disaccharide is the sugar molecule which is formed from 2 monosaccharides. They will be joined together by glycosidic bonds. So like monosaccharide, disaccharides are soluble in water. The physical property is very common. That is, they are soluble in water. And there are common examples of disaccharides: sucrose, lactose, and maltose. These are the disaccharides. These are 3 examples of disaccharides. So how do these 3 different types of disaccharides are formed from monosaccharides? So sucrose is formed, which is also called as the common table sugar. It is formed by the glucose and fructose. Glucose, monosaccharide, fructose is also monosaccharide. So when glucose and fructose, they will join together with glycosidic bond, then sucrose will be formed. Lactose is formed from glucose and galactose. So glucose and galactose both are monosaccharides. When they will join together with glycosidic bond, they will make lactose. And third example, maltose. Maltose is formed by the glucose, one glucose molecule joined with the other glucose molecule, or one monosaccharide glucose molecule will join to with the other monosaccharide glucose, then there will be the formation of this maltose. So in this way, these disaccharides are formed from the monosaccharides. Now you can see formation of disaccharides by using the formulas of these molecules. Here they have shown the glucose molecule. When the glucose molecule join with one another, so there is formation of this glycosidic bond. Glycosidic bond is formed with the release of a water molecule. So here you can see when two molecules on one side, one glucose molecule will release its hydrogen, the other hydroxyl group. So there will be the formation of water molecule. So a water molecule is removed when there is formation of glycosidic bond. So glucose will make a bond with the other glucose molecule to form the maltose molecule, which is a disaccharide. One water molecule will be released with it. And second example is of lactose. Lactose is formed when one molecule of galactose with the glucose molecule will form a glycosidic bond. So this is the glycosidic bond. And again, one water molecule will be released. So if you want to break down the disaccharide, you will add the water into them. And you know that already told you in the last slide, that is monosaccharides and disaccharides, both of they are dissolved, can be dissolved in the water. They are soluble in water. So when water will be added into them, the maltose will be broken down into glucose molecules. And if in lactose the water is added, then it will be broken down into glucose and galactose. So in this, the formation and breakdown of disaccharides can take place. So here you can see in this way a glucose molecule, monosaccharide, a disaccharide. When there is the formation of two molecules, there is an example of sucrose, and then you can see amylose. So this is the, it is a polysaccharide. So it is a polysaccharide in which many glucose molecules had joined together. So the polysaccharide, this is the structure of starch. Amylose, amylopectin. So these are the two different types of chains which are formed when there is formation of a polysaccharide from a disaccharide, or especially the starch molecule. So different types of chains are formed over here, which we will discuss in the next video. So polysaccharides are long chains of carbohydrate molecules, specifically by polymerization of carbohydrates. So they are carbohydrates which are composed of monosaccharides units bound together by glycosidic linkage. In the last slide, you have seen the formation, how the polysaccharides are formed when many glucose molecules join together with the help of glycosidic bonds. And when one molecule joins with on the addition of one molecule, there is release of one water molecule. So in this way, many water molecules will be released when there will be a formation of polysaccharide or larger chain. So these can react with water using amylase enzymes at catalyst, which produces constituent sugar. So if we are adding the water, so this polysaccharide will be broken down. So different polysaccharides act as food source in plants and animals. They also play a structural role in the plant cell wall and the tough outer skeleton of insects. Tough outer skeleton of insect, which is chitin. So in this way, we can give an example of this polysaccharide. So there two types of polysaccharide: storage, structural storage. In plants, the extra glucose or carbohydrates are stored in the form of starch, whereas in animals, the extra glucose is stored in the form of glycogen. So this is, and cellulose, it is a structural polysaccharide in plants, and chitin in animals. or you can say insects. So in this way, these are the two different types of polysaccharides available in animals and plants both. So here is the most important polysaccharides are starch, glycogen, cellulose, chitin, all of which are polymers of glucose. Polysaccharides are not sugar. They are not sugar. Okay, so they are not sugar. So in this way, I would like to say the monosaccharide, disaccharides, and polysaccharides are the three different types of carbohydrates. So it was all about today's lesson. Uh, Wait for the third video, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.